Hi everyone, hello. Hope you guys can see me and hear me clearly. Hi Anudeep, hi Ilman. If you can see me and hear me clearly, please just give me a thumbs up so that I can start off with today's session. Okay. So, welcome once again to another session on must do LRDI questions. So, I have been taking a bunch of these questions uh, as a part of must do LRDI, and I believe they have really helped students and helped candidates. I've got pretty decent feedback about it, and that's why I've decided to continue this particular series. Now, what we are going to do today is we are going to discuss some questions which can get asked in the exam, which have been asked in the exam, and we'll also talk about, some questions which are too difficult for the exam. So that's what the agenda for today's session is. Now, my hair is looking like Dennis the Menace, but I don't think I can fix it now. Anyways, for those of you who might be attending my class for the first time, my name is Ravi Handa. I have been teaching for CAT for close to 15 years now. I've taught at IMS, Time, Career Launcher, all the leading CAT coaching institutes. And after that, I started my own website called handakafanda.com, through which I taught 20,000 plus students online. Since the website was acquired by an academy, I now teach exclusively on an academy. I teach on their YouTube channels. I teach on the special classes, which are free classes on the app like this one. And then there are the paid courses as well. Now, if you're planning to join an academy, there are two types of courses which are offered: the plus courses and the iconic courses. In the plus courses, you get live classes very similar to this, but you get them in a structure. That is, you do this, then this, then this. A particular order is supposed to be followed in those. Whereas in the iconic one, you get personalized guidance as well. So you will have graduates from top B schools who will provide one-on-one live mentoring to you. You can discuss your doubts with them, clarify concepts, and most importantly, you can discuss exam clarification strategy to attempt the exam, the strategy to prepare for the exam, and all of that. That being said, on Unacademy, I would recommend, if you're targeting CAT 21, to go in for the 6-month program for Plus, which is for 16,400. You can use coupon code HANDA in that. You will get a 10% discount on the price which is offered here. So which is 16,400, 10% discount. It will come down to roughly 15K. In this, you will be able to prepare for the exam very well. This will last you till ZAT or probably even more than that. It will also help you with the GDPI prep. The iconic plan that we have, that is something I recommend for CAT 22 aspirants, because this one-on-one mentorship which is provided, that would be really helpful if you do it in the long run. And that's for 39,500. Once again, if you use the coupon code HANDA, you will get a significant discount of 10% on the same value. Another reason for recommending the 12-month plan is that you get an additional 3 months free with it. So let's say if you're targeting CAT 22, if you register for the plan today, your plan will be valid till November 24th, November 25th, which is effectively, as good as the CAT 22 exam. So that will be good enough for your entire preparation. That's the reason why I recommend this plan. Now, before I go ahead and start off with the questions, in case there is any generic query or anything that you want to ask about preparation, about LRDI, please use the chat window and I will be happy to answer your queries. If nothing as such, then give me a thumbs up and I will start off with the questions that I've planned. Hi Sumit, hi Niranjana, hi Shreya. Welcome everyone. So are you guys ready? Just give me a thumbs up so that I can start with the questions that I have. Okay. Fair enough. Let's go ahead. First of all, so 4 people, A, B, C, D, participated during the Indian Defence Meet 2025. They sat on 4 different chairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, paced from left to right. These 4 men are from different departments. So there are 4 chairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, from left to right. There are 4 departments. What are they? MEA, IB, IT, and CBI. There are 4 ages. That is 36, 38, 40, and 42. During the meet, they also gave lectures in the different orders. So there is an order for the lectures as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are 4 people. So I will need another column for name, that is A, B, C, and D. Obviously, it is not that A is 1, MEA 36, 1. So that's obviously not the case. The question will ask you to figure out the order. So it's quite possible that C was the first person who belonged to IB, who was 40-year-old, and the 4th person to give a lecture. That is one possibility. Now, if you think about the total number of possibilities, before we go ahead, what is the total number of arrangements which are possible here? Without any restrictions, what is the total number of arrangements which are possible here? Can any of you tell me? That's an interesting question in itself. 4 raised to the power 5. No, Sumit. 4 raised to the power 5 will be the answer to, if you had to fill just 1 seat. That is, can you name the first person, the first speaker, and all that? Usma says 12. No. The total number of choices here will be 24 to the power of 5. 24 to the power of 5. Can you give me the logic? Why is it 24 to the power of 5? Anand, I'll anyways be going back to the first slide. I'm first asking you, why is it 24 to the power of 5? I'm asking the total number of arrangements which are possible in something like this. The answer for that is 24 to the power of 5. Anudeep is absolutely right. See, the names on the 4 positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can arrange in 4 factorial ways. Their chairs, you can arrange in 4 factorial ways. Their departments, their ages, so on and so forth. So anyways, that's not the question here. Let's look at the question. I'm sorry. Now, C sat somewhere to the left of, but definitely not exactly to the man who was from CBI, who gave his lecture before C and is 2 years younger than C. So suppose my, let me put down my chairs. So if my chairs are 1, 2, 3, and 4, person I'm given C sat somewhere to the left of the man from CBI. So if C sat somewhere to the left of the man from CBI, but definitely not exactly next to, which means if C is at the first position, the person from CBI could be at 3rd, could be at the 4th position, because they are not exactly next to each other. That is one possibility. The other possibility is that C is here. The other possibility is that C is at the 2nd position and then the man from the CBI is at the 4th position. Now, Since both of them are possible, C could be at the first one, C could be at the second one. Which one should I try first? Which one should I try first, or what should be my approach for questions like this? What should be my approach for questions like this? How do I start questions like this? I looked at the first statement. First statement is not giving me anything conclusive. What is the process that I should follow for solving questions like this? Sumit is absolutely right. We need not just start with this. We need to read more and see if there is any conclusive information about who is sitting on the first chair, second chair, third chair, so on and so forth. B is 4 years younger. We don't know where B is sitting. Man in chair 1 is not A. Okay, so it just says man in chair 1 is not A. Sat next to the right. Man who sat on chair 4. Okay. So Sumit, your suggestion didn't quite work here. Sumit's idea was absolutely right. We need to look for some conclusive information. Now we do not have any conclusive information. What should be my next step? Sumit gave me a very good idea that Ravi Handa, what you do is you look for confirmed information. Suppose there was one statement which said that B is sitting on chair number 2 or something like that. But we don't have anything like that. So what do I do? How do I start? Any suggestions in this case? Because we do not have any conclusive information, how do I start? Sumit is right again. We start with the first statement. That is giving me two possibilities. I'll assume one of them. Now there were two choices here. I could have assumed this. I could have also assumed C and CBI here. I could have also assumed C and CBI here. The only thing that it said is the gap between C and CBI should be more than 1. So out of all of these possibilities, I will assume the blue one. Why will I assume the blue one? Because if I assume the green one, that C is at the first position, I have two choices for CBI, which is problematic. Why should I do that? Why should I go with the one which has two possibilities? I will go with the one which is giving me just one possibility, which is the person is C, and then the department for CBI is the fourth one. So this is one possibility that I am going with, not guaranteed. This is one possibility that I am going with. Okay. We also know who gave his lecture before C and is 2 years younger than C, which means that as far as age is concerned, C is 2 years younger than, CBI is 2 years younger than C. So if CBI is 36, then C is 38. If CBI is 38, then C is 40. If CBI is 40, then C is 42. I am not even getting into the lecture thing. I'll do the lecture thing later, boss. First of all, let me just figure this part out if I can. Are you okay with the blue possibility? I'm not saying that this is the correct answer. This is just one of the possibilities which exists out there. Let's look at condition number 2. B is 4 years younger than the man who was from IB and who was next to and to the left of B. Okay. So what this means is B, wherever he is just after IB. Wherever B is, he is just after IB. And what are their ages? I'll probably write it here. So I'm given wherever B is, he is just after IB, and there is a 4-year age gap between them, which means B is 4 years younger. So if B is 36, then he is 40. If B is 38, then he is 42. So now I'm sure that B has to be 36 or 38, IB has to be 40 or 42, which again helps me. Because since B has to be 36 or 38, both those 38 and 36, they cannot be occupied by C and CBI. So this possibility is eliminated. The possibility that they are 36 and 38 is eliminated because B has to be one of them. Very similarly, 40 and 42 are eliminated because IB has to be one of them. No. 42 could be IB and B could be CBI. Correct. So that possibility is there, that B is CBI. Now, if B is CBI, then IB will be 40 here. That is possible. Agreed. We will come back to it. Then the man in chair 1 was not A. So the man in chair 1 is not A and gave his lecture after the 42-year-old, which means A is also, man in chair 1 is not 42. So if I take this 36-38 case, he is 42. And he is 40. If I take the 38-40 case, he is 42 and he is 36. And in this case, I do not know. In this case, I do not know what could be the ages. Then the 40-year-old, we are not sure what can it be. The 40-year-old sat next to and right of the man who was MEA. The 40-year-old sat next to and to the, so after MEA, the next position has to be 40, which means 40 cannot come at the first position. So this choice is gone as well. 40 cannot come at the first position. So this is also completely ruled out. The man from IT gave his lecture next after the man who sat on chair 4. So IT is not in chair 4. He is older than both the latter. Okay, so IT is at least 40. IT is at least 40 because he is older than two people, both the latter and D. So IT guy also has to be 40 or 42. Now if IT guy has to be 40 or 42, IB has to be 40 or 42. That means 40 and 42 are occupied here. So CBI has to be 36 or 38. If CBI has to be 36 or 38, this possibility is eliminated. This possibility is eliminated. Are you guys okay with these as the only possibilities which are left? Now we were given that before 40, just before 40, I need MEA. So just before 40, I have MEA. Then I need, for B and IB, I need 3640 or 3842. I have 3842 here. So B and IB, I have 38 and 42 here. So this is IT. This is IT. Then A cannot come here. A comes here. D comes here. Is this okay? Is it satisfying all my criteria? Now, the IT gave his lecture after the man who sat in chair 4. So IT guy is older than chair 4 and IT guy is older than D also. He's older than, yes, this seems to fit. Are you guys okay with this arrangement? This seems to fit perfectly. Sumit and others. So which means I'm getting a confirmed arrangement. Oh, I still need to figure out the lecture order. I still need to figure out the order of the lectures. If that doesn't work, then I will, come back to it. So CBI gave his lecture before C. So CBI, that means B gave his lecture before C. Use a different color just for clarity's purpose. So B gave his lecture before C. B is 4 years younger than the man who was from IB, left of IB. Okay. Have we satisfied that? Yes. B is IB and was next to and to the left of B. Okay. Man in chair 1 is not A. He gave his lecture after 42. So man in chair 1 D gave after 42. So D gave his lecture after A. We were given B gave before C and A gave, chair 1 gave his lecture after the 42-year-old. So D gave, I think I'm getting confused here. Hold on. This is my timeline. In my timeline, this is T equal to 0. Now, it will be easier. So, who gave his lecture before C? So, wherever B gave, C gave after him was A. Man in chair 1 gave his lecture next after the 42-year-old. So, man in chair gave his lecture after the 42-year-old. So in the first chair is D and he gave it after the 42-year-old. So he gave it after A. Now I know that D is after A, C is after B. The man from IT, 40-year-old sat next to the right to man who was from MEA and gave his lecture next but one after him. Okay. So whenever the MEA guy gave his lecture, then, so whenever D gave his lecture, next but one after him, the 40-year-old sat next to the who was from MEA, and the 40-year-old is C, he gave it one after him. So A has to come before, B has to come here, and this is my final order. Are you guys okay with this final order for the lectures? Please tell me if there is any value that you are not okay with. We got lucky with the assumption of C and CBI. Otherwise, we would have to consider the other cases as well, where C went to the first position. Now, if you get this, then the rest of the stuff will be very straightforward. Who delivered the second lecture? D delivered the second lecture. Age of the person who spoke at the end. B spoke at the end and B was 38 years old. Sum of the ages of the person who gave the third lecture, which is B, plus who sat in chair 3. Sat in chair 3 was A. B is 38, A is 42, which is 80. Out of the 4 members, who is eldest? A is eldest with 42. Are you guys okay with this? Difficult, complicated question, not something that you can get in the exam. Not something that you can get in the exam, and even if you get this in the exam, you're not supposed to solve this. The reason why I discuss this is because this is a popular type. This is a popular type, not something that you are expected to solve in the exam or anything like that. Something that should be avoided. Something that should be avoided. Should I go to the next set? If you guys are okay with the values here. Okay. Before I do that, I would like to remind you that there are multiple batches which are going to start on Unacademy. You can join any of these batches. And when you do join, please remember to use the coupon code HANDA, which will get you a 10% discount on any of the courses. Let's try this one out. So this is actually a CAT 2017 question. If, please try this out. I'll look for another very similar question which was asked in one of the earlier years of CAT. Let me see if I can find that. Please try this one out. How will you solve this? How will you start? What are you going to do? This is from CAT 2017. Can you tell me the process? Can you tell me the process about just how to start this? Any suggestions, any ideas? Total number to each party, that is what we start with, absolutely. So, Funky Pizzeria was required to supply pizzas to 3 different parties. Total number of pizzas had to deliver was 800. Okay. 70% were to be party 3 and the rest equally divided between party 1 and party 2. So, my total is 800, 70%, so 560 to party 3, and the remaining equally between party 1 and party 2. So equally between party 1 and party 2, how many are left? 240 are left. So 120, 120. Then pizza could be thin crust or deep dish, come in normal cheese or extra cheese. Hence, there are 4 types of pizzas: thin crust, normal cheese; thin crust, extra cheese; deep dish, normal cheese; deep dish, extra cheese. This is the additional information which is given. Okay, so this is the total number of pizzas. Now, I will classify them based on crust. So thin crust is one type and deep dish is another type. 0.6. 0.6 means 0.6 of this is how much? So 72 are thin crust, 48 are deep dish, 0.55. So 0.5 is 60. So this is 66 and 54. 0.375. How much will be 0.375 of 800? So 0.375 of 800 will be 37.5 into 8. Double of 37.5 is 75. Double of 75 is 150. Double of 150 is 300. So this will be 500. Now, from this 300, 138. So what is the total number of thin crust pizzas? 300. From this 300, 72 and 66, that is 138 have gone to party 1 and 2. So how many will go to party 3? So how many will go to party 3? So 300 minus 72 minus 66, which is 300 minus 138. 300 minus 140 would have been 160. So this is 162. Now, if this is 162, 560 is the total number of pizzas which have gone to party 3. Out of that, 560 minus 160 would have been 400. So this is 398. You could have also gotten this value by 500 minus 54 and 48 is 102. 500 minus 102 would have given you 398. Are you guys okay with these values? Okay. Then normal cheese and extra cheese. So I have normal and extra as the two other parameters. So 0.3 is normal. 0.3 is normal. That means 0.3 of 120. That's 36. Then 0.65 of 560. So I'll need a calculator for this. I can't do it quickly. So this is 364. And for the total, it's 0.52. 0.52 I can do. 0.5 into 800 is 400. So this is 416. From that 416, you are subtracting what? You are subtracting 400. So this will be 16. Now I can find out the other values. If this is 16, this is 104. If this is 36 out of 120, then the remaining is 84. 360 minus 560, so that would have been 200. So this is 196. 800 minus 416 is 384. Are you okay with all these values? I hope I have not made a calculation mistake in this. Please tell me if all my values are correct and there is no calculation mistake in this. I hope there isn't. Let's check out the questions now. Now, how many thin crust pizzas were delivered to party 3? Thin crust to party 3 is 162. How many normal cheese pizzas were delivered to party 1? Normal cheese to party 1 is 16. For party 2, if 50% of normal cheese pizzas were thin crust variety. Okay. So I have normal cheese, extra cheese, I have thin crust, and I have deep dish. We are talking about party 2. In party 2, what is happening? In party 2, thin crust and deep dish are 66 and 54. 66 and 54. And normal and extra cheese are 36 and 84. So this is 36 and 84. We are given 50% of the normal cheese pizzas were thin crust. So out of these 36, 18 were normal, 18 were thin crust, then 18 were deep dish. So out of total deep dish, 54. So 54 minus 18 is 36. 66 minus 18, 66 minus 16 is 50. So this is 48. Now, the question is asking me the difference between thin crust extra cheese, which is 48, and deep dish extra cheese, which is 36, and the difference between them is 48 minus 36, which is equal to 12. Are you guys okay with these values? Please let me know if you are okay with these values. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Let's check the next one. Suppose that a thin crust normal cheese pizza costs as much as a deep dish normal cheese pizza. Okay. But 3/5 of a, man, this is confusing. Are any fixed values given? A DEC pizza costs 50 more than TEC pizza, and the latter costs 500 rupees. Okay. So the TEC pizza costs 500 rupees. A DEC pizza, the deep dish extra cheese pizza, costs 50 more than this. So the DEC costs 550 and thin crust normal cheese is equal to D normal cheese, which is equal to 3/5 of 550, which is 330. Are you okay with these values? Please let me know if you're okay with this, because then there is nothing else which is, left in the question. If you are okay with this. Now, this is the last question. I was wondering where the question went. So 25% of the normal cheese pizza were of the deep dish variety. Okay, now we have to analyze party 1. So let's do that. Party 1, total number of pizzas is 120. Thin crust, deep dish, normal cheese, extra cheese. What are my numbers for party 1? 72 and 48 for thin crust and deep dish. 72 and 48 for thin crust and deep dish. And normal and extra cheese is 16. Oh, sorry. 72 for thin crust, 48 for deep dish. 16 and 104 here. So 16 and 104 for normal and extra cheese. I think these values are okay. Then we are given 25% of the normal cheese pizzas were deep dish. So how many normal cheese pizzas are there? 16. 24% of those were deep dish. So 4 were deep dish. If 4 were deep dish, 12 were thin crust. 12 were thin crust. So this will be 60 because they need to add up to 72. And this is 4 and 48. So this is 44. Now I need to find out the bill. Now TNC and DNC are the same. So TNC and DNC are the same. So this will be these 16 pizzas, they cost 330. These 60 pizzas, which are TEC, they cost 500. And these 44 pizzas are the costliest one at 550. So all I need to do now is to total it all up, which is 16 into 330 plus 60 into 500 plus 44 into 550, which comes out as 59480. Do I have that in the options? Yes, I have that in the options as option A. Are you guys okay with this? 59480. So now what I will like to share with you is, please try to remember this question. What is happening? Try to remember this question. What is happening? This is a question from CAT 2017. 800 were there. Some proportions were given to you. And based upon that, the questions followed. To solve this question, what you needed to do was form this particular grid, form this particular table. Once your table was formed, two questions were straightforward. In one question, you needed to find out a table and got the answer. In the next question, you needed to calculate various values and then you got the answer after a little bit of complications. Are you guys okay with this set? Please keep it in your memory, and there is a reason why I'm telling you to keep it in your memory. Sukant, I'll discuss that in a little bit. There is a reason why I'm asking you to keep this in your memory, because now I'm going to show you something which, people often neglect during their preparation. Once again, this is a question from CAT 2017. The data is in front of you. These are all the questions which are based on it. And we solved all of these questions, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Is this a set you should attempt in the exam? 100% yes. I hope you guys agree with me that this was one of the sets which should be attempted in the exam. And now what I wanted to show you, I'll just try and upload that. It's taking a bit of a time to upload. Okay. This is a question from CAT 2008. Are you able to spot some similarities? The data is even same, boss. Look at it. 800 students. 800 pieces. 70% to party 3, rest equally divided between party 1 and party 2. 80% to third one, rest equally divided in party 1 and party 2, or class 11 and class 12. Look at the questions. Direct. Okay, this one requires some calculation, so they changed the order. And then in the last one, you need to make some calculations. The point, we will solve this also. So don't think that I'm not going to solve it. Point that I'm trying to make is, going through previous year papers, this is probably the only one of the very few and the very rare instances where I remember an exact question is being repeated from CAT 2008 to CAT 2017. But the concepts that you learn from previous year papers, the ideas that you learn from previous year papers, they will help you, build a very good perspective. I see a lot of students, sir, kaun si book se taiyari kare, which mocks are best for LRDI? Okay, I'm not saying those questions are invalid. Those questions are valid. Those questions are important. But those questions are important once you have finished previous year papers. At least, the least that you need to do is CAT 2017 to CAT 2020. If you have not even done that, then boss, forget everything else. There is no sense for your LRDI preparation, practicing from books and fancy mock tests and this and that. Forget about all that. Step 1, CAT 2017 to CAT 2020 for LRDI. Step 2, CAT 2002 to CAT 2008 for LRDI. Step 3, give me a call, send me an email कि sir ये दोनों हो गया है मेरा, अब मैं क्या करूं? And I'm telling you, I have been saying the same thing for the last 15 years. Only 1 in 5 students finishes this. 1 in 5. Do you see? It is such a simple thing to do. Go through all previous year papers. You will find their solutions online. If you don't find their solutions online, go to my YouTube channel. I upload half of them, in these classes somewhere or the other. If you still do not find it, you have my mail ID. This is my mail ID. If you do not find a solution to any LRDI question which has been asked in CAT before, send that question to me. I promise within 1 week, I will schedule a class just for that question, just for that set, and I will cover it up somehow or the other. I don't know whether I'll do it as a part of a paid course, or I will do it on YouTube, or I'll do it as a special class. That I do not know where I will do it, but I promise I will do it. So but you need to take that first step. You need to finish previous year papers from 2017 to 2020, then 2002 to 2008, depending upon how much time you have. And if you pick up a book prior to that, if you try to solve, I will give 50 mock tests, or I will solve 500 LRD, I said some, this PDF I have downloaded, that PDF I have downloaded. That is something you need to do after everything else is done. After everything else is done. So that's the point that I have been trying to make for quite some time. Hopefully you guys will listen to me, at least the ones who are here. Telegram boss, I do not check because there are way too many messages on Telegram, so that will not work. You can just send me a link on the doubt email ID. I'll pick it up. As a matter of fact, if you send it to me today or tomorrow, I have a class as a part of the DI course. Thor, I'm not sure if you are there in the DI course or not. I know Sukant is there in the DI course, so I will pick it up over there. Sukant, and I believe someone else was asking about the arithmetic course. Let me see if I can find that out. Just give me 1 second. I think I had it. So the arithmetic course is starting from the 1st of September. Yeah, found it. 1 second, guys, because the original link which comes to me as a teacher is different from the link that comes to you guys. So Sukant and others who are already subscribed on Unacademy, you can join my arithmetic course here. The classes for this will be held on Monday to Thursday, 10 to 11:30 in the morning. That is what the schedule is. In this, I will be covering the entire syllabus of arithmetic. Obviously, it is difficult to cover everything from the basics in this. So what I'll try to do is I'll pick up good quality questions. Okay, so I'll try to pick up good quality questions and explain them from basic concepts rather than going from basic concepts, then average questions, and then difficult questions. So that there is something for everyone in this particular course. Sumit, concepts will be there, boss. I can't teach randomly, okay, use this formula done, use this formula done. Unfortunately, I'm not that, I don't have that much energy. I'm too fat and I'm too lazy to speak so fast. Why do you think I drink water 30 times in a class? Okay. So let's go ahead. Let's try and solve this particular question now. So the proportion of male students and the proportion of vegetarian students is given below. Has a total of 800 students. So absolutely the same idea that we did before. So total is 800. Then 80% are in secondary. Let me take some more space. So 80% are in secondary, which is 640. Rest equally divided between 11 and 12. So I have 12th first, then 11th. So 120 here. %, 640. So 160 are left now. Sorry. So 80 here, 80 here. Then male and female. From this 80, 60% are males. So 48 males, 32 females, 0.55. So 44 males, 36 females, 0.475. So 47.5, how much is double of 47.5? 45 double is 90, so this is 95. Double of 95, 190. Double of 190, 380. So out of the total 380 are males, 420 are females. So now, out of 380, if I remove how much? 44 and 48, 40, 40, if I remove 300 is left. From 300, if I remove 12, that is 288. 640, if I remove 300, that is 340. So this is 352. Then the other criteria is veg, non-veg. So 0.5, so that is 50-50, or rather, sorry, 40-40, 50-50%. 0.55. Now this I cannot do. 0.55 into 640. Oh, this comes out as 352. If this comes out as 352, this comes out as 288. And 0.53 of 800, 0.5 of 800 is 400, 0.03 is 24. So this is 424. If this is 424, how much is left? 376 is left. So what is the veg and non-veg numbers which are left here? 424 minus 392. So that is 24 plus 8. So this is 32 and 48. Are my calculations correct? 288 plus 40 is 328. 76 minus 28 is 50 minus 2, or 48. So this is my grid. This is my table which I was trying to find out. Are you okay with this? Okay, let's check. What is the percentage of male students in the secondary section? Male students in the secondary section. So we knew that this 352, this is 55%. If this is 55%, this is 45. This is 45. This is 55. So percentage of male students in secondary is 45%. Now I'll come back to this. What is the percentage of veg students in class 12th? Veg students in class 12th is 32 out of 80, which is 40%. I will now go back to the previous set. What was happening in the previous set? First two questions. Look at the table. 162 in the table, 162 is the answer. 16 in the table, 16 is the answer. Very similarly here also. First question, second question. Just look at the values in the table and you got the answer straight away. Nothing else was needed. Only this much information was required to solve this. The other two, they will require a little bit of effort. What was the effort there? You formed a grid, a mini grid for that particular party, for party 2 and then for party 1. For both of them you formed a grid. Let's see what you need to do in this one. In class 12, 25% of the vegetarians are males. So male, female, veg, non-veg. What are my numbers for class 12? For class 12, 48 and 32 are male and female. 48 are males, 32 are females. Veg and non-veg. 32 are veg and 48 are non-veg. I am given 25% of the vegetarians are males. So out of this 32, 8 are males. I think even this part was same, 25%. No, this was 50% here. No, 25% of the normal cheese pizza. So very similar questions. So if this is 8, this is 40. This is 40, this is 8, this is 24. What is the question asking me? What is the difference between the number of female vegetarians? So female vegetarians are 24. Male non-vegetarians are 40. The gap between them, 40 minus 24, which is 16. Then in the secondary section, 50%, I think this is a typo, 50% of the males are vegetarians. So let me form the grid for this. Veg, non-veg, male, female. 50% of the males are vegetarian in secondary. So in secondary, total is 640, 288 and 352 for male and female. 288, 352 for male and female. And veg is 352, non-veg is 288. Veg is 352, non-veg is 288. I'm given 50% of the males are vegetarian. So out of these 288, 144 are vegetarian. That means 144 are non-vegetarian. Total non-vegetarian are 288. So this is 144. How much will this be? This will be 352 minus 144. So 300 minus 200 is 2. 52 minus 44 is 8. So these are my values. Now you look at the options. Except vegetarian males, all other groups have the same number of students. No, veg males, actually, except female vegetarians, the other three are same. Except female vegetarians, the other three are same. So do we have that as the option? Yes, we have that as the option, as option number 3. So the reason why I wanted to discuss this question, is this a difficult question? No. Is this something that you should attempt in the exam? Yes. A lot of people, think when they see old paper, अरे 2008 में आया question, इतने साल पुराने question जो है, they used to be very simple or they used to be very difficult. These days, questions like that don't get asked anymore. That is not the case. You have no idea what kind gets asked. I have no idea after teaching for 15 years that what is the sort that can get asked or not. I can guess. But to make better guesses, to practice better, you need to go through these previous year papers so that, if you get lucky, just think about those students in CAT 2017 who would have practiced, who would have seen this. I'm sure they would have been surprised कि अरे तो किया हुआ question कैसे आ गया? And that could happen with you as well. So please, once again, remember to practice from previous year papers. On that note, Unacademy has started a campus ambassador program. I think if you are subscribed, you should be able to see that in the app. Let's try one more question. Please try this one out. The simple happiness index. Before we start this, any questions that you have in general about preparation, about LRDI, I'll be happy to answer your queries. Please let me know. Should I go ahead? Okay. Simple happiness index of a country is computed on the basis of 3 parameters, S, F, and C. On each of these 3 parameters is measured on a scale of 0 to 8, integers only. A country is then recognized on the basis of the total score which is obtained, summing the scores of all 3 parameters in the following table. The following diagram depicts the frequency distribution of SFC of 10 countries. So I need a total of 30 values, right? 10 values of S for all of them, 10 values for F for all of them, 10 values for C for all of them. Let's see if I have those. So SFC, then 10 values for each of them is required. Sukant DI does that. See, whenever I start to realize that whenever the classes start getting too heavy, when people need to think a lot, they kind of tend to give up towards the end. But I think I'll cover this set. This is a very good set. Otherwise, I would have wrapped it up already. Normally, I wrap it up in 3 sets. But I had my coffee and I was very excited to discuss these things with you. So, for S is blue. There are 3 values of 3. 1, 2, 3. Then there are 3 values of 4. 4, 4, 4. Then 2 values of 5. 5, 5. 1 value of 6 and 1 value of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. For F is red. 1, 1. Then 1 of 2. Then red. 3 comes twice. Then 4 comes once. 5 comes thrice. And 7 comes once. And finally C, 1 comes once, 2 comes thrice, 3 comes 4 times, then 4 comes once, and 6 comes once. So this is my final order for SFC. Now let's look at the conditions. A and C jointly have the lowest total score of 7 with identical scores in all 3 parameters. So now I need the same total score for A and C, which is 7. How do I form 7? Such that both of them have the same value on all parameters. So I can do 3, 1, so that is 4 and 3. So I can do 3 plus 1 plus 3. What else can I do? I can do 4, 1 and 2. Both of these are possible for A and C. Then Zuma has a total score of 17. For Zuma, I need a total of 17. So how can I get 17? 7, 7, 14 and 3. Okay. Then 7 and 5, 12 plus 6 and 4, this will not work. So 7, 5 will not work. 7 and 4 is 11 and 6, okay. So 7, 4, 6 will work. 7 and 3 will not work. So then I will start with 6. So 6 and 7, 13 and 4. This can work. Then 6, 5 and 6. Then 6, 4 will not work. 6, 4 will not work because that is 10. Let's start with 5. 5 and 7, 12. 12 and 6, no. 4, no. 4 and 7, 11 and 6. So 4, 7 and 6. So these are the options that I have. I think that's it, because these are the options that I have. Now, all 3 countries which are categorized as happy have the highest score in exactly one parameter. So first of all, there need to be 3 countries. There need to be 3 countries which have the higher, which are happy. So I need 3 countries in the 14 to 19 range. So I need 3 countries in the 14 to 19 range. Obviously, Zuma at 17 is one of them. Have the highest score in exactly one parameter, which means So 7, 7 and 3, this has highest in 2, ruled out. 7, 4 and 6, highest in 2, ruled out. 6, 7 and 4, this can work. 6, 5 and 6, this can work. 4, 7 and 6, this is ruled out. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to keep just these two. 6, 5, 6, 6, 7, 4. Remember this? 6, 5, 6, 6, 7, 4. 6, 5, 6, 6, 7, 4. 6, 5, 6. 6, 5, 6 and 6, 7, 4. These are the two possibilities for 17 that I have obtained. Fair enough? 3 countries, I do not know what those 3 countries are. But let's go ahead from here. AMDA score in F. So A score in F, whether I consider this case or I consider this case, in both the cases it is 1. Zuma score in S. So Zuma score, whether I consider this case or I consider this case, in both of them, Zuma score is 6. Then Benga and Delma are the 2 countries categorized as happy and are tied with the same score. So Benga and Delma can have how much? Okay. They're tied with the same score. So we already have taken, suppose we have taken 6, 5, 6. Suppose. Then what's the maximum that the others can have? So I can do 7 and 5, 12 and 4, 16. So if this is gone, let me just use a different color so that I know Zuma. So this is for Zuma, suppose. Now, if this is for Zuma, what can I do for the other 2? I cannot take both the 7. So what I can do is 7, 5, 4. 7, 5, 4 is 16 for B. Now, can I form 16, 5, 12? No. I cannot make both of them as 16. So I will not try for 16. I will now try for 15. Can I make both 15? So if I do 7, 5 and 3 and 5, 7 and 3, I think that will work. 7, 5 and 3 and 5, 7 and 3. Yup. So 7, 5 and 3, 5, 7 and 3, both of them coming out to be 15 is possible in the case when Zuma was 6, 5, 6. So the max that is possible is 15. Oh, you are saying 16 is possible? 5, 5, 6, let me check. 5, 5, that will not work, no? You're talking about the other arrangement, Sukant? Okay, let me try that. So you're saying Zuma is 6, 7, 4. So this is Zuma. Then you are saying 5, 5, 6. For B, and I'm not getting Sukan. So this was 17, this Belma is 16. How are you getting it for D? See, 7 is available, 5 is available, that is 12. 4 is not available. Now 4 is already gone with Zuma. Sukant, 4 is already gone with Zuma, so that is not possible. I think I rubbed off the wrong part as well. Okay. So I think I anyways have the correct ordering here. I have the correct ordering here. So the max that is possible in this case is 15. Then if Benga scores 16 and Delma scores 15. So Benga is 16, Delma is 15, Zuma is 17, that we already know. Okay, so 17, 16 and 15. How do we make that happen? I think we did that, right? So this was Zuma at 17, 7, 5 and 4 for Belma at 16. That's what I want, right? And Delma at 15. How do we make Delma at 15? Delma at 15. Let me write those values here before I get confused. So this is 6 plus 5 plus 6 for Zuma. For Belma, it is 7 plus 5 plus 4. And for Delma, it is 5, 7 and 3. Okay. Then maximum number of countries with a score of 13. So now I need 13. How can you get 13 from here? Well, the top 3 are completely gone. 5, 5, 3. You can get one country at 13 and that's it. I don't know which country, but there is only one country that you can get at 13, which is 553, which is option B. Are you guys okay with this? Sumit is fine. Sukant, I hope, is fine. He has been with me for most of these questions. Okay. I guess that's pretty much it that we have for today. So these were some really good sets. I hope you guys got to learn a lot from these, and you will be able to implement these in the future classes whenever you are practicing, whenever you are studying for CAT. Please do that. Please, if you have to take away one lesson from today's class, it should be that you need to do previous year papers. Unacademy has an Ask a Doubt feature where you can click a picture, send it to us. Either me or someone from our team will clarify that doubt for you. If you're planning to enroll for any of the courses, please use the coupon code HANDA and get a 10% off. If you're already enrolled, from 1st of September, one of my courses on arithmetic is starting. You can join that course. The link is given to you. And if you have any further doubts, you can ask right now. Test Funda is good enough for CAT. Sukant, I'm sorry, man. I haven't really seen Test Funda mocks in a long time. Last time I saw was 2013-14, so I wouldn't really know. Doesn't matter, Sumit. You can always watch the recording of this particular class. You will have access to it. And on that note, I'd like to end this. If you like today's class, what's my CAT mock choice? It's a hard call. See, honestly speaking, I haven't seen Unacademy mocks, but the way they are, putting resources into it, I saw a lot of teachers were giving content for it. I hope they are good. I personally don't have access to it, so I haven't seen it. Then I also really like mocks from Career Launcher. I also really like mocks from IMS. These 3 is what I would recommend that you try out, because they're quite close to the actual CAT exam. Okay. On that note, I'll end this class. Please provide positive feedback at the end. The better feedback that I get, more such classes I will be allowed to take on the platform. And on that note, bye everyone. Bye guys.